and welcome to the sixth episode of the Godless Moms podcast. I can't believe it's been 6 episodes. It's
I
been
know. Amazing.
I feel like we just started this. But this Saturday afternoon, we are going to be discussing makeup and modesty and all of that fun stuff, and basically how it affects your kids, and when, maybe it should be okay for your kids to wear makeup, and explore that area of life, and how to shed the issues that are kind of tied to religion, and how they feel about makeup and modesty when you become an atheist, because those are things you don't have to worry about anymore. So that's what we're talking about today. But a couple of things before we start. The first thing is that our chat on YouTube and on Facebook is not a place to be arguing about the existence of God. So if you are a religious person who has come here to try and debate with people in our chat, we're probably going to kick you out. So I don't mind if there's religious people here. I know Janice doesn't mind if there's religious people here. We welcome you. We love to hear your opinions on the stuff that we are talking about. But I don't want there to be the debates about the existence of God in the chat. That's it.
Agreed.
The second thing is that we have our podcast now on all your favorite podcast platforms. So iTunes and Google Podcasts and Stitcher and all that stuff. So if you prefer to listen to us just audio, I listen to tons of podcasts when I'm walking my dog. And just go to the link down in the description, and it'll take you to the podcast page, and it has all little buttons for where you can subscribe to our podcast. And if you do subscribe to our podcast, please consider giving it a review and a rating, because that helps the podcast get suggested to other people. I'm joined here by my lovely co-host, Janice, and she's...
Steve.
And Steve. How are you doing, Janice?
Oh, I'm doing not too bad. I'm going to give a little shout out to our dear friend Mohammed, who's joining us. Hello, my friend.
Oh, hi,
nice
Mohammed.
to see you're here. And it's a beautiful sunny day where I am. I bet it's a beautiful sunny day where you are too, because you're not very far away.
Yeah, it's beautiful out here. And I've shown you the view from my window, which I'm looking out right now. It's just mountains with a little bit of snow on top and the lake. I love where we live.
And I am looking out basically at a forest, just many, many pine trees and the blue sunny sky. It's a good day to be in Canada, at least in where we are in Canada.
Yeah. Well, we live in an area of Canada where we get a lot of sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
And we are lucky for sure. And it's going to be spring soon. I can feel it in the air. That snow we had yesterday was weird, hey?
It was weird.
Yeah. It's a really
weird. Is that even snow? It's like styrofoam falling from the sky. What is it?
Yeah. It's one of those Biden conspiracies. Oh. Like the snow that fell in Texas, right?
That's
it's not real snow.
Oh my Lord. That was another episode. So for anybody who's wondering about my hair, I did this on purpose. This hair is my homage to the 80s, because that's when I was in high school, graduated Rutland Senior Secondary class of 88. And let me tell you, we had seriously big hair. The bigger the hair, the better. And so I couldn't quite get it as big today, but yeah, you got your comb and your back combing and lots of hairspray. Those were good times. And that also was a time when I would wear makeup. And then it was after that I went many years with no makeup or jewelry, and nobody got to see my hair, because my hair was always under a head covering, because Jesus. So now I'm wearing a shirt with got my shoulders showing there, because I can, damn it. I'm excited about today's show.
In the 80s, I used to crimp my hair, and of course I have very, very thick hair, so I have to layer it at the bottom to kind of thin it out. Otherwise it dries like a triangle. And so this course was the 80s. This was before I ever got my hair layered. So my hair would be a giant crimped triangle.
I want to see pictures, please.
It was
also
so hot.
Of my head covering, and you show a picture of your crimpy pyramid.
I actually have a picture, and it's a hilarious picture. It's me with that funny hair, and I'm playing the recorder, and my dog is howling.
But we're not sure if he was howling at your hair or at the recorder. It could be either.
But a funny thing about me, though, is that growing up until I was probably like 35, 36.
I don't even believe you are 35. So
I'm 43.
Oh my
I'm 43.
What you just said. Wow.
But I did not, all the way up until my mid-30s, I did not wear makeup, like, at all. I didn't wear makeup to high school. I didn't wear makeup in the 80s. I never wore makeup. And into my 20s and stuff like that, I would a little bit dabble with it. I was the biggest tomboy, you know, just never wore dresses. I still don't wear dresses. I never wore dresses, and
You got your plaid shirt too, which is very Canadian, I might add.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was, and it's funny because I wear makeup all the time now. I love it now. I'm sure everybody has noticed, but I did not like it for the longest time. I just didn't have time for it. I didn't enjoy it. I always thought it was like a shallow kind of endeavor. And then when I actually started, it was YouTube that changed it for me. I watched YouTube tutorials and I started to realize this isn't about looks. This is about, like, this is an artistic outlet. This is something to get your creative juices out and stuff like that. And so that's what got me into it, because I would watch people like intricately paint these beautiful designs on their faces, and like it would completely transform the shape of their eyes and everything like that. And I was just like, that is amazing. And I've always been an artist and a creative type, so I just couldn't resist that. And now I genuinely have a makeup problem.
Tell us more about your makeup problem. The counselor would like to know.
I'm a hoarder. You know, I don't know if you've ever watched Jenna Marbles at all, but she calls herself a goo hoarder, which is basically when you're hoarding makeup, because makeup's all goo, right? Like you would hoard lip stuff and lip balms and eyeshadows and all this stuff. So I'm a genuine goo hoarder. I have way too much makeup. I have put a stop to my makeup shopping.
There's been an intervention.
Yeah. Well, it's also because I had a couple of those subscription boxes where they send you makeup, and the subscription boxes were gifts, but in each box, and you get one every month, and in each box there's like 5 or 6 full-size items of makeup. So I mean, you end up collecting all this stuff that I will never use, right? Like I'm never going to use neon turquoise glitter for my eyelids, right? I'm never going to use that. But it's so pretty, I can't get rid of it.
Oh. Well, all of my makeup, every single piece, fits in a makeup bag about that big, about the size of a pencil box. And probably the newest item is like probably 5 years old. No, except for mascara. I do buy new mascara maybe twice a year. But I feel like I could stand to learn something about putting makeup on this face, because I just don't know. I never really have had anyone show me how to do it. And I have one daughter, my 24-year-old, very makeup and beauty savvy. And then I have another daughter, she's 22, could not care less about anything related to makeup or anything like that. So 2 very different young ladies with different takes on the beauty industry and what makes them feel beautiful. I hope one day when you and I do the drunk episode of Godless Moms, that you will maybe also give me a makeover as you get more and more blotto. So we'll do one side sober and then the other.
That would be so
I would pay
fun.
to see.
That would be really fun. Yeah, it's makeup is definitely, I've done a complete about face on my stance with makeup, as I'm sure is the case for you as well. What like growing up in or being in a religious atmosphere, what are those attitudes towards makeup? Because I don't know. I don't know what people think.
I'm glad you've asked. So there are a couple of verses in the New Testament part of the Bible. Uh, and of course, it's only men that get to write in the Bible. They were the people who wrote it down, apparently. And they talk about how a woman's beauty is not to come from outward adornment. She's not to adorn herself with gold or pearls or fancy braided hair. And so when I became ever more fundamentalist in my interpretation and misinterpretation and twisting of the Bible verses, it got to a point where it was like, okay, no makeup, no jewelry, not even a wedding ring, never cutting the hair. So my daughters never had their hair cut until they were, like 10 or whatever, and I didn't cut mine for many years. So we all had hair pretty much down to our waist. And I also believed that since we had hair on our bodies, God must have wanted it there. So I didn't shave anything. Nothing. Not my legs, not my pits. There was no shaving going on. My poor husband. We're not married anymore, although that's not why. But yeah, really took it to extreme. And then when my daughters we're getting closer to the age of being, high school kind of age or whatever. That's when some of those things really had to be addressed in myself. And by then, thankfully, I was escaping from the grip of religion. I had become much more liberal and much looser about so many things. But even when I was growing up, so I couldn't get my ears pierced until I was 13. And then certainly couldn't wear makeup until I was 13 or 14. But with my girls, I didn't want them having their ears pierced. I didn't want them wearing makeup at all. But as I was able to extricate myself from those really dogmatic beliefs that have no grounding in anything, I was able to give them more freedom.
Cool. Mm. We were watching that Trixie Mattel video before this, where
it was so good.
Yeah, Trixie Mattel is just the best drag queen ever, and she was going over the Girl Defined video about wearing makeup in a God honoring way, and I love that part where they went through that verse that you just mentioned about the hair being braided, and they both had braids in their hair.
I know. The irony was not lost.
Oblivion is wild. Like, how do they not? I don't understand it. But anyways, yeah, I think that there's an article that I have talked about a few times about. It was a long time ago. It was like 5 years ago. Some lady wrote this article about how she's not going to be wearing leggings anymore because like it just hurts my brain to even have to say this out loud, but she's not wearing leggings anymore because it drives all the men wild everywhere she goes, right? Like she's clearly disrupting just the natural flow of the universe by wearing
powerful.
Yeah. I know. And so she announced on this blog, and it kind of went viral for a few weeks. It was on all the like HuffPost. Everybody was kind of rebutting her and stuff like that. But to me, like when people say stuff like that, when people are talking about modesty, makeup, and the way they dress, and how you need to do it to prevent the opposite sex from basically just losing their minds and turning into like a puddle of nothing. It sounds to me like that person is so narcissistic that they believe that by just wearing a certain type of clothing that they can, as I said, alter the course of the universe. Or they have like control over other people's actions. And I've never really understood the logic behind that.
Right. And that's where the toxicity comes in, and this is where the whole purity culture idea comes into play, and it puts ridiculous pressure on females because it basically says that they are responsible for the action of the males around them. And this is where, if you look into Islam and you see the ladies are literally covered head to toe. Sometimes you can't even see their eyes. And it's all because, they're so powerful that they could cause a man to attack them, assault them. This is such a toxic way of thinking. We need to be raising our children to be in control of themselves and to have respect for themselves and for other people, rather than victim blaming in any degree at all. I don't know if you saw that article yesterday. Actually, it happened in Canada, I think in the Lower Mainland, could have been Ontario, and a young lady was sent home from school because the teacher, I believe it was a female teacher, deemed what she was wearing to be inappropriate. And I don't think this was a religious school. And they showed a picture of the young lady, and she had like a turtleneck, and then she had a dress over top. It was a somewhat form-fitting dress over top of the turtleneck. And it raised a real brouhaha. And if you don't know what that is, it's a hubbub. Those are both good Canadian words. It made a big stink. Because she shouldn't have been sent home. So actually, at least bringing it into the open as the media did, it's a good opportunity for people to talk about those things. My right to wear what I want to wear, and that I don't have to be responsible for how other people react to it.
Yeah, I think that I saw that. I saw the article, and the dress was because the line of the hem of the dress had the lace on it.
Yeah, it looked kind of like a slip almost.
Yeah, it kind of looked like a slip, but she was wearing like a full turtleneck underneath. But it shouldn't even matter. Even if she wasn't wearing a turtleneck underneath, it was still completely appropriate. There was nothing showing that shouldn't be showing. And I mean, I've told you guys about my parents, so it doesn't even matter to me if that stuff is showing. I don't care. That's your thing. Do it. Go naked. I don't care. But
you heard it here first. Yeah.
Yeah. But
well,
I'm not going to. I'm not going to volunteer. but you guys can. I'm good with that. I won't judge.
Sorry, we're talking about this serious topic, but
But yeah, like I believe it was the student teacher who was the man, and then the teacher was a woman. And when they come out and they say that they have a problem with what this girl is wearing, I don't know how they don't understand that they are basically telling on themselves. They're basically saying, when I looked at this child, I was thinking about sex. Like that.
My guess is that they either or both of them are probably religious. Now, I don't think that didn't make it into the article at all, but basically those are the people who would deem something immodest. Even the concept of modesty is very, in some ways, like archaic and religious based.
Yeah. Yeah. I grew up in an atheist family, and I never had my parents say anything about what I wore. Mind you, I just wore jeans and t-shirts, but it just was never, my parents never commented on how other people were dressed or anything like that.
I do remember as a teenager, so I remember the big 80s hair and the makeup and going to a public school. And of course, where we live, it gets very hot in Canada. It's semi-desert. And I remember lying in the backyard on a towel in a bathing suit, likely a bikini back then. And then my mother told me I wasn't to do that. It wasn't appropriate because of my brothers, because it wouldn't. Yeah. And I have wonderful brothers, and we have a terrific relationship. But I remember being incensed and confused that she would feel that way.
Yeah, I think that if you feel that you need to dress a certain way to keep yourself safe from the men in your life, then you have the wrong men in your life.
Amen. That is exactly 100%, 100% true. And
I also,
yeah, go on.
I don't like the fact that saying those types of things make men out to be these horrible predatory creatures when, I mean, let's face it, there's lots of terrible men out there who have done terrible, terrible things. But, you know, there's lots of really wonderful ones too who wouldn't do that. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't like how that makes it out to be like men are these hopeless creatures who need you to look out for them in order for them to just do the basic bare necessity of being a human. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I just
Mm-hmm.
don't like it. I don't like how it makes men sound.
I found it very confusing growing up in a religious household and attending public school. And I had asked my parents at different times if I could please go to a Christian school, but I mean, those things cost a bajillion dollars. Um, but I felt so torn. Like I didn't feel like I could really be myself in either realm. So I didn't, drink or party or do any of that stuff. And I wanted to fit in, like I put on the makeup and the hair and those kinds of things. But I was just, it was very conflicting. And I love not being conflicted now. And hopefully my daughters also feel liberated in that sense. I want them to do what makes them happy.
Yeah.
That's what I want. That's what I want for all of us, to have the freedom to live authentically, to be who we really are, not who some philosophy or group tells us that we should be.
Yeah. I don't like how, like, for me, in my opinion, wearing makeup is something that I'm okay with my daughter of any age doing. It doesn't
Mhm.
bother me. If Abby, when she was, 6, came to me and said she wanted to wear makeup one day, we're going grocery shopping, something like that, I'd say, hell yeah, let's do it. I don't have a problem with that because I don't feel that it's inappropriate for her to express herself at any age. I feel that it's inappropriate for people to look at her and see her as a sexual object at age 6.
Mhm.
And I think when people express a discomfort with a child wearing makeup, um, they're expressing something more about themselves than they are about the child. And it's
Mhm.
a very disturbing thing that they're expressing, that they're linking this child up with some sexual thoughts. Like,
We
it's
are
gross.
in a highly sexualized society.
Mhm.
Yeah, we definitely are.
How old,
Yeah.
if you could go back and raise your kids secular, how old would they be before they got to wear makeup?
Um, I think whatever age they would have shown an interest, but it might have looked different. So, if they're in grade 2 and they saw mom putting on lipstick and they wanted to wear lipstick, I maybe wouldn't be letting them put on my bright red lipstick. I might start with here's a paler shade, or look, it's a Bonnie Bell or something like that. But if it's making the child, feel good about themselves, then that's terrific. I love the comment that we just got in there. We're also in a highly sexually repressive society, and that is so true.
Mhm.
Those things seem to go very much hand in hand.
Yeah. The fact though that they associate makeup with sexuality in any way is crazy to me. Like for me, it is very much like I obviously I did my makeup today, right? I get out of the shower and I sit down. I usually turn on some YouTube video or the news or something like that, and I start doing my makeup. And for me, it's like a self-care time. It's like almost like meditation. It's like recharging, and it's absolutely 100% a creative outlet. I think about, like, okay, what colors are we going to use today? What is the ending eye look going to look like? What are we going for today? And I think about it like in terms of my clothes. Like, I picked out this pattern to match with my makeup and my nails and everything like that. Like it's a very creative outlet for me. It's got nothing at all to do with sex. I already snagged a dude, right? Like I got him. I don't need any. I'm not out there for people to be looking at me and or anything like that. That's not what this is about. I do it for a creative outlet, and I know that my daughter does it too. She doesn't wear makeup very often, but when she does, I know that she does it to explore her creative side. And
It's
I think
about her.
yeah, for me, it's so crazy that people associate wearing makeup with sexuality. Like I don't see the connection. I don't feel it in any way.
It took me a while, like because it wasn't just that I flipped a switch and suddenly I didn't believe anymore and I realized everything I believed was hogwash. It took years and many steps for me to go through. And so then even when I was wearing makeup and more revealing clothes and exploring myself, to see a male wearing makeup still really caught me off guard. There was still a lot of unpacking that I had to do. And now I see young people absolutely being who they are and who they want to be. And I think what greater gift do we have than to allow people the freedom of self-expression, and they're putting on their makeup and wearing the clothes that they want. And there's something powerful and wonderful about that.
Some of the male makeup gurus on YouTube are just so incredibly talented. I swear I have learned more from them than I have from the women. There are so many male gurus out there, and they are like, if you've not watched them, you need to watch them. And it is even more fun to watch because they are just being who they are and so true to themselves, because there's still so many people out there who judge them just for putting colors on their face. And it's, I don't know. I enjoy
Did your mom wear makeup when you were growing up?
Not much, no. She would wear a little bit here and there. My family, not really into makeup at all. Honestly, I'm the weird one. I am absolutely my cousin went to Blanche McDonald in Vancouver for makeup artistry.
Ooh la la.
And then right after that, she went and got her PhD in neuroscience. So, yeah, she does everything. So, but we were roommates at the time when she was going to makeup school, and I was her model. And I remember once she crimped my hair and she did my whole face in gold makeup. I remember that picture. That was fun.
Whoa. Well, my mom still wears the exact same makeup she wore my whole life when I was growing up. So she's 82 now. And if I'm taking her out somewhere, she's like, wait, I got to put my face on. Put the lipstick on. Now I'm ready. Now I can face the world. And I think back to when I was very young, like 5 or 6 years old. And her mom, my grandma, would come to visit us, and my granny was a bit of a character, and so my granny had her own ideas about makeup, and so she would put the lipstick on her face, and then she'd give me the tube of lipstick, and she'd say, okay, we're not done yet, and she said, put one there, put one there, put one there, and put one right there. And this is how and then of course you're supposed to like rub it in. It's giving her some color. But as Granny got older and a little more forgetful, she would forget to rub around with the big red dot there. Grandma. Oh, fun times.
That's hilarious.
Oh boy, that was a good one. Yeah, but I get such a chuckle out of my mom with her lipstick. She doesn't feel presentable unless she's got her, and she has like very short hair, my mom, and she didn't ever. She was against getting ears pierced for whatever reason, doesn't like it, but she wears her clip-ons, and it's getting harder and harder to find clip-ons.
Yeah.
But those are the things that make her feel pretty and feel good about herself. So I applaud that.
Yeah. I got my ears pierced when I was 10, I think. And then I wore them because it was just like such a rage at the time. And I wore them for like 3 months, and then I let my holes grow, and I don't wear earrings
Really?
anymore. Yeah, I'm not much
Oh,
of a jewelry person. Like, I have this necklace. I love
I
wearing
love
this
that
because it's
necklace. It's
simple.
so beautiful. It's really when I think of you, I think of you in that necklace. So yeah, it's
Yeah, I wear it a lot. I think it's
mm,
just I like simple. I like really simple. Um, what's the word? Minimal type. Like, my rings are really tiny and stuff like that. I just like simple stuff. But I think my mom's kind of the same way with eyeliner. She won't go out without her eyeliner on. And it's funny because you can't tell. Like, you can't tell. Before and after, you would not be able to tell. But it's in your mind, right? And I think that's something that I definitely feel as well. It's like if I have a business meeting or something like that, I don't feel right unless I have my face on and my hair is done, and I make myself presentable. But that, I feel, is more about just being professional and stuff like that.
I
Um,
really think I need you to go shopping with me because I have two lipsticks and this is one. I have this one and then I have one that's like kind of like a orangey color or something like that, or rust color or something. I have no idea what would look good on me. I don't know about my colors or anything like that. Like the makeup that I have on my eyes right now, it's just like this
yeah.
stuff that I put all over. It's all the same color, and then I spend the next 5 minutes trying to wipe it all down so it doesn't look quite so overwhelming. So I need to be watching some of the YouTube tutorials.
Yeah, they're so helpful. I mean, like I said, I did not use makeup at all until I was in my 30s, and I started watching how I learned. I didn't have anybody show me anything. So, and I still do some interesting looks sometimes. Things turn out not quite the way I imagined them in my head.
I
I like
follow this. Sorry. Mhm.
I like to wear like a lot of pinks and reds because they make the color of my eyes pop a little bit, and sometimes I'll just go like too red and I look like I'm like feverish and I'm like I need to go to the hospital. Maybe I should get tested for COVID.
Yes. Yes. I have seen some I don't know if it's still a trend because I'm not that up on the makeup trends, but it seemed to me there was a time where people were putting like either pink or red kind of almost all around their eye, and I was like, is that infected? Like I'm not sure about that. Hmm.
Actually, the other day I posted a selfie and somebody on my Facebook page, somebody commented and said, does it look like she's trying to hide a bruise or something like that? I'm like, no, this was a picture at the end of the day. And I don't know if you've ever worn a whole day of makeup, but by the end of the day, things are coming apart. And no, that's not a bruise. Nobody's beating me up.
I follow this gal on Twitter, and I quite like her. She's had me on her podcast before too. Her name is Stephanie McCown, um, and she does the most amazing things with makeup on her face. So she also shaves her head just because she got tired of having to do her hair,
Mhm.
and then she's always experimenting with these different palettes for her eye makeup and her lipstick, and I just am so in awe. Like I think of her as someone who truly is liberated. She has given herself 100% permission to
Yeah.
be exactly who she is and not who society tells her that they think she should be or their ideas of beauty. And I feel like that is super empowering. One other thing I really like about Stephanie, she does this thing called blackout poetry. And so she gets like an old Bible that she had in her house or gets from the thrift store or something, and she goes through it with a marker and she gets rid of the words that she doesn't want in there and ends up it's like redacted poetry and takes some of the verses from being so toxic and hurtful to being absolutely lovely. And I feel like that is also that could be really helpful to people who are in the process of deconstructing their religion.
Mm-hmm. That sounds
That's
cool. That's a good idea. I've never even. I'll have to go find that person on Twitter. That's cool.
This is fun.
I think that that's definitely my biggest issue with the way people look at makeup is that you also, like you said, she gives herself full permission to just be who she is. And I think that's something that I know that I've struggled with, is the fact that I for so long didn't wear makeup at all. And I was kind of a tomboy, and I just never wore dresses or anything like that. Now in my 40s, I'm starting to become more quote unquote girly, as they say. And you get judged for that. It's like, oh, but you didn't used to be this way, or you didn't used to wear this, or why do you wear so much makeup now? You must. And they assume that you're doing it because you need to get attention or anything like this. Like, no, it's got nothing to do with getting attention. Although I like posting when I've done my makeup really well, just like somebody likes posting a drawing they've just drawn that they're proud of, right? Like for me, it's an artistic outlet, and I get the strangest comments, and it just runs the entire spectrum. It's like, you're wearing way too much makeup. You don't need that much makeup. You're so pretty. You don't need that much makeup. It's like, I didn't say I did. God. Nobody said I did.
That belongs with the other comment. We can retire. Why don't you smile more? Oh, by the way, this is my
your EOS balm.
Because my lips are dry all the time.
It was a couple of days ago I posted about needing a haircut. And I love everyone for being such lovely people that they felt they needed to reassure me that my hair looked fine. But I didn't, I don't need a haircut because it doesn't look good. If I do my hair like this, I know it looks great, but I need my haircut because it doesn't fit my swim cap anymore. I need my haircut because it takes me 8 hours just to dry this and to make it not go into the pyramid. I need my haircut for so many reasons, but people assume that if you're posting a selfie or you're posting about, needing to change something about yourself, that you're doing that because you're fishing for compliments or you're not feeling good about yourself or whatever. And it's just, I don't understand that. I don't understand why people have to assume that there's some kind of ulterior motive for you just being you. I don't understand.
Yeah. And it's, for some people, they just feel a need emotionally to try and be reassuring. They think, oh, you're struggling. I want you to feel better. And some people just don't have any understanding of when they should shut their mouth and keep their comments to themselves. Look at these that are falling down. These are my bra straps, and it's a fuchsia bra. I know. Hi, Mom. Are you watching? Yeah.
Well, if you weren't going to hell before, you certainly are now.
No.
All the men watching right now. All the men watching right now, they're losing it. You know that.
Ooh, and I'm wearing leggings too. Yeah.
But I think it's important with kids. Like I said, I don't have a problem with my daughter. She's going to be 19 very soon. Holy crap. But when she was younger, I would never have had a problem with her wearing makeup. Where it would become a problem is that if I felt she was tying her self-worth to it. You know what I mean? If I felt that she was feeling like she had to wear it in order to show her face out in public, or she didn't feel good enough without it, that's when you have to treat it like this is a problem. And that's it. You have to recognize the fact that it's not the makeup that's the problem. It's the self-esteem. It's the way that they feel about themselves. That's the problem in that situation.
Oh yeah. And we live in such an age where, even thinking of body dysmorphic disorder. So people having a very skewed or unrealistic idea of what they actually look like or what size they are. And I remember reading an article, I think it was about Fiji, and they were saying that so Fijians had traditionally had a very kind of robust body type, and then once TV was getting hooked up, and they were getting cable and everything, they started experiencing eating disorders in their youth,
Wow.
and that was a new thing. They'd never had that before. So really, we do compare ourselves, even though we don't want to, and that's something to talk with our young people about self-esteem, particularly our young ladies, but certainly also boys really can struggle with this as well.
Mm-hmm. Maya in the chat just said, I used to hate to hear you're single at 30. What's wrong with you? I hate that too. I hate it when they just assume things about you. Like they don't people out there, they don't know anything about you. They just assume that you're single either not by choice, and that you're desperately seeking partnership
Mm-hmm.
when, as Maya then later pointed out, that she was working on her bachelor and master's degrees. Like, that's valid. That is a great way to be spending your 30s. Like, I
Yeah,
think.
and
No,
sorry,
go
go
ahead.
on.
No,
Oh,
you
I was
go.
going to say, not to mention when women especially, but even, I mean, couples, they hear from their relatives, well, why aren't you starting a family? Why don't you have any kids? Like, are you not able to have kids? It's very personal. Don't ask people that question. Operate on the assumption that people are happy
Yeah.
with their life exactly as it is, whether they're single, whether they're part of a couple, whether they have kids, whether they don't have kids. It's just crazy. People need to be free to be who they are.
Yeah. And I think that's for me why I would give my kid, even my son, give my kids free reign with makeup at any age, and as long as I knew that they were okay with themselves, that they were doing it because they truly enjoyed doing it, because it made them happy to do it, not because they were trying to please other people, or not because they were trying to feel better about themselves through makeup. Although I think that there is an argument to be made that sometimes you can feel better about yourself by using makeup, and that's a good start. As long as you're doing other things, you can't rely only on makeup for the rest of your life. You have to be working on yourself in other ways, but that's a really good start if you're feeling about yourself, and um, you know, you want to start exploring makeup. That's a good way to start to feel better about yourself. But
I totally agree. And I see one other really interesting comment from Robert there. Men or women talking to someone who's gay and saying, one night with me, and you would be cured. I mean, talk about an offensive comment to have made to you. And a similar thing happened when I confided to a friend, a religious friend. Um, but I was pulling away from the religion, and I said to her that I recognized that I was attracted to women as well as men. And her immediate response was, well, don't get any ideas with me because I'm completely hetero. And I'm like, no, I think of you like a sister. Like, that would be really gross. That's something that never even, thanks for putting that picture in my mind. But it took courage for me to make that disclosure to that human. And she did not respond really well to it.
that is,
But
I'm so embarrassed. Like, that is so embarrassing for that person, because you're basically saying, like, I'm so irresistible. You have to be attracted to me.
mm, and yeah, and she did go on to become like a fitness instructor and this kind of thing. But oh gosh, yeah. Can we please just let people be who they are without us trying to make them into who we think they should be?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that it's, I don't know. I am of the opinion that, especially with kids, that you just, in this day and age when we have a lot, like, there's a lot of mental illness, there's a lot of people who suffer with depression and anxiety and stuff like that. When you have a child who is interested in something, you need to grab onto that, because so many kids are lost. So many kids don't know which way to go, or what they love or what they don't love. when you have a kid who's interested in something, and this goes for computers and computer games too, which is something that I see a lot of parents kind of dumping on when their kids spend so much time on computer games, is that when you have a child who is into something, who loves something so much, you're lucky. So many kids don't have something like that in their lives. So many kids are feeling like they're lost, like they have no direction, they don't know what to do, where to go, they have no passions, they don't know what should be their hobby, all of the stuff. They struggle with those things. If you're lucky enough to have a kid who loves something so much, you have to encourage it. And that's
Yeah.
why like my son is very into playing Minecraft, and I don't understand it. It's not, I play Zelda and that's it. I dabbled a little bit in the Animal Crossing, but then it was like, what am I even doing? Nothing happens in that game. But when he came to us and he said he wanted to build his own PC and so that he could run Minecraft better and stuff like that, we enabled that and encouraged it. And you, in this day and age, you can turn that into a career. You can turn that into a full and fulfilling life as an adult. It's not just a kid thing. It's not just a hobby. It's not just a time suck. These are things that should be taken seriously and encouraged. And so
That
we
is such
definitely encourage
beautiful
him.
parenting. Congratulations to you and your partner for being those kind of parents. I love that. I feel like the world would be healthier if people parented that way and nurturing and fostering and encouraging their children's interests. That's wonderful. And you're also letting your son know that he's fine. He's wonderful
Yeah.
the way he is, that what he's interested in, you want to support. Oh, I just think that's wonderful.
Well, thank you. We do make sure he has balance, though. He's not allowed to just sit in the basement all day. He has to
Mm-hmm.
he has responsibilities, and when it's gonna be springtime, he'll be going back to the skate park, and he's in the mountain biking club and stuff like that. But um, you definitely have to teach them balance because they don't have the ability to balance themselves right now. Like, their brain's just not capable of understanding.
Good.
They
I
just
would say
think
most
this person
adults
should
also
live
do not
forever.
have. Yeah,
Like,
that's
yeah.
Oh, I really struggle with balance. Like I'm forever seeking that elusive middle ground. And I know that that's a feature or a bug of my personality that I'm
Yeah.
way over here or I'm way over here. And I'm like, life is easier in so many ways if you can be in the middle. But yeah, there are things that we're passionate about. And I think it's great for us to run with those passions. It makes life so much more enjoyable.
Mhm. I think that with the whole makeup thing, that it's also really important to prepare your kids for the reactions that they could get, though, if they start dabbling in it. And how would you explain that to them? Like, how would you explain to a child why people react with hostility if you wear makeup?
Hmm. That's a good question.
Yeah.
I think I'm always one to ask questions with warmth and curiosity. Oh, that's such a neat look. What's inspired that look? Or what videos are you watching? Or show me more. Show me how you do that. And what do you like about that? Fostering communication that way. And then, yeah, just telling them, not everybody feels as free as we do. And that's sad. A lot of people feel really constrained and bound, and they have their own issues about how other people should look. And
Mhm.
when we come up against folks like that and they're telling us exactly what they think about how we look, that's not to stick to us. We're going to be like Teflon rather than Velcro. We want those to just fall off of us as best we can. And it's too bad for those folks. And hopefully, maybe one day they'll get to a point where they feel as free as we feel.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. I like that, Teflon versus Velcro.
Yeah.
It's it's a good way to explain it to kids when you're saying that it's definitely an issue with that person and not with you.
Mhm.
You're doing fine. That wearing makeup shouldn't spur hostility. Like it just like think about the words that are coming out of my mouth right now. Just the absurdity of it. Like that makeup can make people hostile. It's just
Oh my!
crazy.
I mean, I remember in the 80s when it was such a big deal, the 80s and the 90s. If a man shall pierceth his ear, which ear is he wearing the earring in, and does that mean he's gay or is he just a
Yeah.
pirate? Like, I don't know. It was a big to do, and guys were really trying to be careful about which ear they were going to pierce. And it's so laughable.
Yeah, I
Who
know.
cares? Be you. You do you. I like that. I like that saying.
Hmm. I love the fact that we are in an era now where like becoming more acceptable of everybody, no matter how unique they are. I don't want to say weird because I don't feel like it's weird to have your own thing, but unique. No matter how unique you are, we're in a time and a place where we're trying to be supportive of that. And I don't know if you've spent too much time on TikTok, but if you do, like when you start using TikTok, it starts to kind of get an idea of what you like based
The
on the things that you'll,
algorithms.
yeah, based on the way that you like, on which videos you watch all the way through, which videos you interact with, and stuff like that.
Mm.
And eventually you find yourself in a place that is like TikTok does it better than every other platform. You find yourself
Wow.
in a place that is 100% you.
Mm.
And what I have found myself in like what I like to call like the super supportive cuddle time area of
Oh,
Twitter, which is like
nice.
everybody's just like there are men and women like my age and older who are posting TikToks saying, if you need family, I'll be your family, and stuff like that. And it's so beautiful because we are in an era now where these kids don't have to worry about, I mean, they still have to worry about the judgments. There's still all of that judgment out there, but there's a support community that they can find and they can tap into, and they're not alone. They are clearly not alone. And I just love that we are in that time. I love that we're finally starting to see that time.
Yeah. So are you on TikTok? Do you make videos of yourself on TikTok?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are
I
you
do.
Godless Mom on TikTok?
Yeah.
Or is that something we
Yeah.
share with them?
No, you can go ahead and find me on TikTok. I am Godless Mom. I usually just respond to religious people. Like the other day somebody commented on one of my videos and said, "Oh, you have faith that there is no gods." And so I just I reply and do a video and tell them, "Nope. I don't even believe that there are no gods. I just don't believe until I have proof either way." So,
Hmm. Hmm. One thing about modesty that uh, I do feel somehow should be addressed. So even though you and I both believe people absolutely should be able to wear what they want, walk down the street naked, you should be able to do it and not be assaulted. That is not the society that we live
yeah.
in. There are unhealthy people um, who may have designs on people because they dress in a certain way, and so that still is something that we do need to discuss with our daughters about being safe, and with our sons too about being safe. And it makes me so sad, even that we still have to do that,
Mhm.
but we do. So there's something to be said about encouraging our kids to be careful when they're out with other
Yeah.
people, and trying to be mindful of their surroundings, and of course making sure that they know they can call us anytime, day or night, if they feel unsafe, if they have somehow gotten into a predicament and they need help. They can call us and we will be there right away.
Yeah. We have yeah, I think that that's really important to talk to them about that. But I think it's important also to make sure that they know that like you wear what you want, dress how you want, present yourself the way that you want, but learn to aim when you're kicking people in the balls.
Yep. Make that
Because
one count.
I don't think that a child or a teenager or even a woman, I don't think anybody of any age should have to dial down the way they want to dress, the way they want to express themselves in any way, unless it's hurting other people, like actually tangibly and demonstrably hurting other people. I don't think that they should have to dial down to be safe. I think that it's a much better plan to, maybe carry mace and learn how to defend yourself in one of those self-defense things and maybe avoid certain areas. But outside of
I
that, I
also
don't think
feel that in reverse, in the sense that when I see a Muslim woman who's covered head to toe and she's walking holding hands with her little girl, that breaks my heart.
Yeah.
To think that's what's in store for that child. She is not going to have an opportunity to choose how she wants to dress. That's a real hard one to deal with. I want all people to be free to choose.
That bothers me too, because once when I see pictures of little girls who have head coverings, that only means one thing, and that's that they've been sexualized, that they are seen as a sexual object that is desirable and is going to cause people to desire them in a sexual way, and so they have to cover up so that those people don't misbehave. And that is ultimately what that is when you cover a child for any religious reasons, for modesty, you are sexualizing that child. Like you're the one sexualized. You're not protecting them from being sexualized. You are actually doing the sexualizing. And that's why it bothers me. I don't like the fact that they don't get a choice either. And I know that there's a lot of women out there who say that they do choose to wear the hijab and any other kind of head coverings and stuff like that. And if it is 100% your decision, I don't have a problem with it at all. But I have a problem with that choice being taken away, and I have a problem with children being sexualized in that way.
And we certainly encourage everyone to read the book Unveiled by Yasmin Mohammed.
Yes.
And she is going to be one of the speakers at the conference on religious trauma, which will be happening online in May. So I want you to start getting excited about it now. I'll be announcing the website and ticket sales in the next couple weeks, hopefully.
Yeah. It's too bad we couldn't do it in person. We were supposed to do it in person, and I was looking so forward to meeting everybody.
Too, maybe next year.
Yeah.
But this way, hosting the event online, people can join from all around the world, which I really, really like. And it'll be much less expensive. So it'll be a good start, a good kickoff.
We should do a live episode at the conference.
Oh, yeah. I like that idea. Not just another pretty face.
But yeah, we've been at this for an hour now, and I think we've covered the topic of makeup. But I think ultimately the takeaway from this, which I hope that you take away from this, is that there's absolutely nothing wrong with wearing as much makeup as you want, as long as you're doing it for you and you're not doing it because you feel like you have to, or that's the only way you can be attractive or anything like that. Like, do you ultimately is what I'm saying. Just be who you are. Express yourself the way you want to express yourself, and don't let other people shame you into not doing the things that you love. That's my conclusion.
Excellent. Yes, let us be a shame-free zone. I think that would be great. I'm so thankful for everybody that tuned in today. It's been really fun reading your comments as they go along. You've said some really interesting and thought-provoking things. And yeah, tell other people about the Godless Moms podcast. Hopefully we are an encouragement to you to live your best secular life.
Yes, I agree. And we'll catch you next week at noon. I don't know what the topic's going to be. And soon we're going to start having some guests at some point. So that should be fun.
Yes. I agree.
So make sure that you're subscribed and hit the bell, and you'll be notified when we go live next time. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Perfect. Okay, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.